Hi everybody, just one of those diary type videos today. Got the bike over the pit, as you can see. Just want to have a little talk about rust proofing or corrosion protection, what I've done recently, and get some feedback from yourselves. Let's have a look at it. So in the past I haven't really bothered with any serious rust proofing or corrosion protectant. I've basically just cleaned the bike regularly and give it a spray with WD-40 or something similar. There's very rare time goes by that the bike isn't cleaned within a few days. I tend to clean it after a ride. If I haven't got time to fully clean it, it'll certainly get hosed down. And then within a couple of 3 days, certainly within a couple of days usually, the bike's cleaned. So there's no areas really that get subject to the water clinging for long or grub and grime, such like that. So I haven't really worried too much about protection. However, because I was doing a lot more longer trips on the VFR, particularly into the Alps and such like, the bike does get rather grubby. So I started looking at some corrosion protection just for the bits and pieces I can't get at easily. I'm getting older now, that they get easy. It gets harder to get down to these places. And it means that at least I've got peace of mind that stuff I can't get to regularly is protected. And I watched that excellent Bennett's video by John Milbank on corrosion protection, and I thought I'd grab one of these XCP bottles. So this one came up as scoring quite highly. I'll put a link to that test. I thought it was quite good. Rust blocker. They do a clear coat now. I'll come on to that shortly. Quite a gloopy substance, not easy to put on, but I give it a go. And you may remember I put a little post out where I coated a couple of nails with that XCP, some WD, and I left one just blank, just as a simple experiment, pretty basic. I just left it outside for 6 months, and the nail coated with the XCP really performed well. But the downside to it, and when I say downside, I mean downside for me, who's a bit OCD over how mucky my bike gets. This is the issue with it. Now I've just come under the bike, I haven't done a lot to it, and that looks really grubby, doesn't it? It isn't really, it's just coated in the corrosion protection, but it's so thick and gloopy, the muck just actually clings to it. And I don't know, that causes me a bit of concern just mentally, because I think, well, it's acting a bit like a paste, you know, where items moving and is it grinding the metal away? I don't know, I'm getting a bit sort of anorackish about it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all off now. It'll take some cleaning. I had a quick go with some degreasing, but that didn't take it off. So I'll get my old paraffin out, which sort of like cleans anything, and we'll see how it comes up. So hang on in there. Oh yeah, I also coated the rear shock and the swing arm there, and you can see aesthetically it looks awful, same as that hose there, but it's just because it's coated and the muck has just actually clung to it, so that's going to get a good clean as well in a second. So I've got my paraffin out and an old toothbrush, and a couple of goes, you can see it's starting to come off nicely, and it has been protected. Remember, I put this on in March, so that stuff's been on sort of like 5 months or so now, and I haven't cleaned underneath the bike at all. So you can see, I mean, these bolts and plates are what are they, 13-year-old now, 48,000 miles, so you know they're going to be a bit tatty anyway, but that's coming up nicely, so I'll crack on. So there we are, but we can see it's obviously done its job, so I actually feel a bit better about it now. And I've still got the shock to do, but at least I can see my rebound adjusted there now. So I feel a bit happier now, and I'll recoat it, but I'll just crack on with the other side. So I've done the shock, I've got a little bit more to do on it, but as you can see it has been protected. Just got to clean up that swing arm a bit more. It's definitely looking a bit better. I can't really get in there, but this is sort of the angle that you see it from when you're just glancing at the bike, or at least when I'm glancing at it. So I'll just get it recoated now, especially as I've got a 3-night Scottish trip coming up from Thursday. I should have just left it really, shouldn't I? But I wanted to get on with it again. I was curious. So what's my conclusion? Well, my conclusion is that XCP rust blocker is a little bit thick for any items that are exposed, but if you want to do the stuff that's out of sight, it really does a good job. So what I'll probably do is I'll move back to something like ACF 50 out of an aerosol, or the newer clear coat that XCP does, which apparently goes on less sticky and is less likely to attract the muck as much. However, anything that's sort of like protectant, it must attract dirt somehow. And because I am an avid washer, will I just end up washing it all back off again? And I don't know. But anyway, it's done its job. Am I 100% happy with it? Not so sure. I may just go back to constantly cleaning it. The stuff you can see, I mean, there's not a lot in the VFR that corrodes. Things that I always look for on bikes is, you know, like banjo bolts and caliper bolts, stuff like that, these sort of things. And what I do is I just tend to dab them quite often with just a little bit of WD on a cotton bud or something, obviously being careful that I'm near the brakes. That usually does a decent job, so I'll carry on with that. But with regard to overall corrosion protection, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are and what products you've found useful or you've been happy with. Okay, I'll catch you later. Bye.